Friends, now we will analyze the impact of three very important elements of our communication, namely body language, voice and content. Friends, this would be quite an alarming and quite surprising for many of you that out of these three elements, which one has got the maximum impact of your communication? Is it the content, the voice or the body language? And generally when I ask this question to many of my participants in our training, most of them give higher importance to content than to voice or body language. But actually the fact is, if you're giving a shorter presentation of approximately 1 to 2 minutes, the impact of content is only about 7% on the ultimate effect on the audience. The voice has got an impact to the extent of 38%, whereas 55% of the impact comes through your body language, your gestures, eye contact, the hand movements. Those is what ultimately leads to the impact. So friends, remember, for short presentation, 55% of your impact is coming out of your body language, your postures, your eye contact, gestures, hand movements, etc. And 38% by voice and only 7% by content or what you say. Friends, when you go on to a longer presentation, maybe 20-30 minutes and above, then the content important rises up to 15%. Body language is still important, almost 40%, but your voice modulation becomes important to the level of around 45%. So this is what is to be understood and registered in our mind, and accordingly we have to give importance in training ourselves in all these three aspects or elements of communication. So let's now look at each one of them. The voice. When you come to voice, it can be in terms of your pitch, in terms of your volume, in terms of your tone. You have to ensure that when you begin a presentation, it has to be always in a high pitch. And you have to continuously keep on modulating your voice to a high tone or a low tone, depending upon the content which you are presenting. So you have to use both the dimensions. Maybe the high pitch, the low pitch. Sometimes you use the pause in between in order to get the necessary registration of the message onto your people. Other important rules is whenever you start a presentation, it has to be always in a high pitch, strong voice at start with. And remember, no mumbling. Your speed of speaking has to be such that you should not be mumbling where you tend to eat up the words. Approximately around 150 words per minute is approximately the right way in which you can send across the message very, very effectively. And you have to have the variety in terms of modulating your voice according to the content you want to deliver and at what stage of the presentation you are in. So the voice modulation which has to be practiced continuously to ensure that you are able to send across the message with a lot of panache. Coming down to body language, friends, always remember to stand tall, have a good eye contact and dress to impress. The very important thing is to keep your spine erect, because when you keep your spine erect and the shoulders apart, you will be able to breathe well. When you have a diaphragmatic breathing, your voice also would be much more powerfully coming. Do not sway. Don't keep your hands in the pocket and jangle any keys or coins. They're all distraction from what you want to convey. Never lean on a chair showing as if you are non-energetic. Always stand erect. Have the proper eye contact with your people. And use gestures and words which can accordingly go across with a lot of punch onto the audience. So this body language aspect has to be consciously worked in communication in order to make your communication very effective. And from words also important. Words are energy. And the right words used with the right time, with the right amount of effort and punch again leads you to produce a humongous amount of efforts. Friends, words have got the power to construct as well as to destruct. So you have to use the right word. Never use a negative word, because negative word saps away the energy. Using the right positive prospective words gives you an elevation of people's energy and mood. In fact, just to understand the importance of the words, in Solomon Islands, there the tribals, whenever they have to destroy any plant, the entire village gets across around that plants or the trees, and they only do the one thing, they just curse the plant. And it has been found that just by using those negative words, those cursing, makes the plant die. As we all know, plants also have feelings. So that is the power of the word. Just imagine if plants can die by the usage of cursing or negative words, what can be the impact of the words on human being, which is much evolved species. So be very careful about what type of words you use. It has to be something which is empowering, enabling, educating, and one which is energizing to the people. So use the right vocabulary and understand the importance of all these three elements of communication, and by consciously working on them, I'm sure each of us can become very powerful communicators.